Hello, and welcome to week 16 of me reacting to myself doing yoga flows. I'm a beginner. I'm trying to learn because I think I want to teach. What kind of yoga, what flavor, I'm still not sure. I'm still feeling very beginner and very new to everything and still trying to learn. And what I realized over the past 4 months of doing this, which is insane, I can't believe I've done this consistently for a month. It must mean it's sustainable or it's doing something, so that's really cool. I would say, I'm learning that my body learns a lot faster than I think my mind does, so I'm gonna have to change up some of the content and maybe in a couple weeks try voicing over my own flow, like talking over and as if I was the instructor and seeing really how much I know and how much to think about the body while I'm talking about it and what it needs to do in certain poses or what it can do, what it can't do, all that stuff. Happy 4 months of me reacting to different yoga flows on YouTube, and thank you for being here. If you've been here and watching the whole time, so lovely and so exciting. It's been quite a journey. I did this flow about 2 times this week, not including today, although getting to the mat and doing a proper flow at week, but that's okay. We're here today and let's get it started. Thanks. Yeah, I think 4 months is pretty cool, even as a reaction video. That's a lot of flows. That's at least a flow a week, and even if that's all you can get to sometimes, that's enough. It's really about doing what's good for you, not what you need to be doing. I think yoga is a lot about that. So the starting in this pose is a child's pose, which is, I think I've mentioned this last week, but really nice to kind of force yourself to get grounded and start yourself in your practice. So, because it's not just sitting there, there's a lot of stretching still going on, a lot of feeling the body, all that good stuff. So it was really good to start that way. I do some cat-cows. I definitely still have, a dip in my mid to lower back. I don't know if that's ever gonna go away, but I stopped walking a week and a half ago, and I started walking again, and today my body was in a lot better shape. Still dealing with some stomach things, but yeah, I couldn't book a specialist out for a couple months, but we're working on it, trying to get there. So yeah, we do some cat poses and we go into some cobra-like poses. It's like a cobra light, I think the instructor kind of describes it as. Yeah, I'm really excited that it doesn't hurt to do that with my lower back when I've maintained the stretching and the walking and stuff. Pretty crazy though. So we're kind of doing some cobras into a child's, a puppy pose, I would say, which feels really good to stretch out the lower back with. Yeah, I'm just so amazed that I can do that without it hurting. And when I do that, she's like, anchor in with your shins and your feet. And it's just always so hard to think about anchoring from the bottom up. My movement is in my shoulders and my arms, but you really have to send signals and strength to your legs. It's so funny. The first downward dog of the day. Yeah, definitely not it's always the first one that feels awkward and a little what's the word, unoiled. Into a yogi squat. This one always is crazy on the hips. It is really difficult. At least now, I guess it didn't capture it in this, couldn't even capture it in this filming, but at least my ankles and my heels are touching the ground now. That's progress on ankle mobility. Into a forward fold. I hadn't stretched at all today. It's the middle of the day, so yeah, not even touching the ground for that one. But forward folds are supposed to be really releasing. Into downward dog. Yeah, I can't get my heels to touch the ground in downward dog, I'll tell you that. That's still not a natural thing. Into a three-legged dog with this hip opener. It's so difficult. Again, three-legged dog is just, it just requires more strength in general, but then to be moving your hip while you're trying to balance and stay in is really hard, but it feels good once you get through it. I think this is some sort of like gecko pose. She recommends I move my hands into fists. She recommends sometimes doing that if you don't want to be so difficult on your wrists. You can use your fists on the ground. And then, so I open my right leg. I'm resting on the side of my right foot and I'm folding forward. This is definitely a hip opener. Really, really nice. You don't have to put your elbows on the ground. You can stay up and still get a really, really nice stretch. And these are always insane. You feel that so deep in the thighs. Yeah. I don't know how not to have really, really constricted like legs and thighs. And this is a side lunge, I think. This is difficult for me because, again, just my ankle mobility is pretty bad. So I use a lot more strength so that I can do it properly, and that the foot that I'm leaning towards, so right now it's my left foot, is fully on the ground and my ankle's not lifting up. So that means I have to use more core and use my hand against the ground a little bit more. I think in a lot of cases these are meant to be a little bit more passive, but I'm really trying to focus on keeping the bent foot on the floor. And then we go into a warrior two. That's good, good stuff. That looks good to me. It looks like a good pose. Into a side ankle, I think that's what that is. I think in my warriors I can still be like bent into it a little bit more. Into this triangle pose, and my legs need to be straight. Oh yeah. Oh. Yeah. This one is always right up the back of the leg. It's insane. Yeah, the stretch there is so difficult. Like, I don't know. I was diagnosed with sciatica at some point, and it's just like, why can't anyone figure out where this shit actually comes from? Instead of just putting a band-aid over the solution. Into a high pigeon, which is nice. Putting in a little back bend, fingertips on the floor, stretching out that jaw every time. Instructors tend to remind students about like unhinging their jaws in a lot of cases. I'm glad that's not just like I've noticed that in a couple videos, and I know so I'm glad that's not just like a Juliet thing where I'm always like clenched. Pigeon pose feels so good. And this flow is only 20 minutes, so it's like you do this on one side and you flip it to the other side, and then pigeon pose is like kind of like signaling, almost in all the flows that I've tried, a pigeon pose is starting to signal that the flow is coming to an end. So like literally once I do it on the other side, I think the flow starts really winding down. And it's nice. It's just so good on the hips. And we store so much shit in our hips. Okay, so three-legged dog and a hip stretch on the other side. Is this a gecko pose? I think that's technically a gecko pose. I'd be a little bit closer to the ground. And so then I'm going to roll over on my left foot this time. So on the side of my left foot, open up that left hip and come down to my forearms. I feel like I should have stretched my forearms out or my back out a little bit more. It feels pretty unstraight and pretty unsquared in my hips, but I don't know if that's how that's supposed to look, but it's a little uneven. Oh yeah. Oh yeah. Ouch. Every time. It's funny, like this no pain, no gain, I feel like was something that I would hear in like middle school and high school gym class, like trying to run a mile. No pain, no gain. But it's such a summarized way to really talk about what it's like to find your edge, find where the pain or the tension begins in your body, and how to like handle that and how to hold it and how to take care of it, and how to welcome it instead of like making it about the grind. It is a signal, and there are times where you're not supposed to lean into the pain. There's other times, where you are supposed to lean into it, physically in your body, I mean. And so so it's not, I'm like no pain, no gain kind of with some of these poses, but also like take care of yourself and don't push yourself. But there is something to be said about sitting in the discomfort of tension, of physical tension when you feel it, and proving to yourself you can get through that discomfort. And then the next time you return to that pose, if you exercise that corner of discomfort in your body, you can it won't, the discomfort isn't as intense the next time you return to that pose. So that's pretty cool. So, and this is a triangle pose. That is not a triangle pose, but that's okay. I definitely still felt it when I was stretching it, which is good. Three-legged dog. Yeah, I don't know. I'm not sold. Into a pigeon pose. Upright pigeon for a sec, getting a little back bend going. My eyes are tired. It's been a long weekend. Into full pigeon pose. So good. I feel like it's good when you're in this pose to listen to the instructor reminds the students usually like, okay, just see where you can kind of let yourself surrender to gravity every couple seconds. Like you can kind of always go deeper. There's kind of always something that's holding on. Your shoulders or your jaw or your elbows or your hips. And making sure that, I'm leaning on my bent left leg right now, and making sure that that's kind of like evenly distributed throughout the leg and not just on one side, so you get an even stretch. And yeah, you're like the last downward dog of the flow. It's always a happy time when you know it's the last one. This pose is insane for stretching out your neck and shoulder. So my hands, you can't see them, my hands are intertwined behind my back, and they are, my fists, my grabbed hands together are sitting on the back of my right hip, and then I move my head to the right, so it's like tucked behind and around. But the stretch on the left is just insane. Like you can do lots of head stretches, things like that, but I think, yeah, I don't know why that one's so intense, but it feels good to do if you don't push it. Yeah, so we do it on one side, do it on the other side. Then we're doing some eagle arms. I do modified eagle arms because I don't have good mobility in my shoulders and back. I know, it's just a scary thing about thinking about being an instructor, is like when I can't do the poses, or couldn't necessarily show the poses, but we'll see. And then we'll do eagle arms, or my modified eagle arms on the other side. Yeah, definitely have some sort of pinched nerve up here too, which is probably causing the carpal tunnel that I have. I feel like I need to see a very specific type of doctor to get that mapped out. hand doctors, I forget what kind of doctor was pretty low. What didn't really want to have a discussion with me. It's just, yeah, that's what you got. Here's the surgery date, which I didn't buy. Anyway, so ending the practice, sitting up instead of a shavasana in this case. Sukhasana is sitting, but there's I think Sukhasana is the variation. There's Sukhasana and Sudasana, I think, but I have to fact check that for myself. Unclenching that jaw one more time, taking deep breaths, really feeling my body, and in this moment I felt a lot of gratitude for my life and for my body and for my tissues and my cells and my brain and my body. Like, we have been through so much collectively, me, my body, and my friends, and our community, and our country, and everybody's just going through so much all the time. So I felt some gratitude that in my nuclear day-to-day there is a lot to keep joy around and a lot to fight for. It was a nice long exit too, which gets me really to like focus on resting and relaxing. Namaste. All right. What can I say? That flow is so nice. It's a little bit more than beginner. It's short. It gets into all the crevices. I really enjoy its intentions. This weekend was filled with like a lot of reconnecting with people that I haven't seen in a long time, and my band played a show last night, and so many friends came through. I just had a lot of gratitude coming up in my final pose. Lovely, lovely flow. Thank you, Cassandra. Thank you for watching. Thank you, body. Thank you, mind. Thank you, spirit. And we'll catch you for week 17 next week. I can't believe it.